Right now, a coup has been confirmed in Guinea Bissau. Now, earlier today, we heard heavy gunfire outside the presidential palace just days after general elections took place. Let's have a listen to that. Crowds of people were seen running from near the palace. Two candidates have claimed victory ahead of the release of results on Thursday. The incumbent Umaro Sissoco Embalo is seeking a second term. He ran against opposition contender Fernando Dias and 11 others. Let's go to our correspondent Nicolas, who's live for us in Dakar in neighbouring Senegal. So, Nick, what exactly are you hearing about this coup?
Well, we heard from this press conference held at the military headquarters, where a group calling themselves the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order effectively said that it discovered an ongoing plan to destabilize the country, saying with the participation of drug barons, and the aim was to destabilize the election results. Presidential election results were supposed to be announced on Thursday, tomorrow. And so they're just taking over power just as those results were going to be announced. Two main contenders, the incumbent president, Umaro Sissoco, and Fernando Dias, both claiming victory. Now, we don't know the whereabouts of the president, but what we know is that the presidential palace is heavily guarded as we speak, surrounded by the presidential guard, and we have the military deployed. There is fear that there could be ongoing violence. So during this communique, they announced that air, land, and sea borders are closed and a curfew in place in the country. Marlene?
Nicolas, give us some context here, because Guinea-Bissau, one of the poorest countries in the world, in Africa, what does this mean now for ordinary people in the country?
It is one of the poorest countries, but it is also what the United Nations, but also U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency call a narco state, one of the biggest narco states in Africa. Why? Well, because it's on the western point of the African coast, and Latin American drug dealers use Guinea-Bissau to funnel cocaine that then is led and sold on the markets in Europe. And so in this communique, it really points to the fact that the drug traffickers were involved in this election, and that's what they were trying to thwart. There's been accusation that the drug money has infested both the political arena, but also the military itself. A couple of years ago, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency put up a sting that involved the naval chief of the country, accused of trafficking tons of cocaine through the country. But of course, none of that wealth is going to ordinary people. Most people live in poverty. And so during this election process, we saw both the incumbent president and the challenger saying that they would distribute more wealth, that their circumstances would get better. But it has not been the case. And yet another coup in a country that has suffered dozens of coups since independence in 1974 from Portugal.
Right, exactly. Marlene? On that point, I understand it's experienced 4 coups since independence, as well as multiple attempted coups. Do we know for a fact if this coup is really ongoing, and what more can you tell us about it? It's still unclear what's happening to the president himself. There's been attempted coups before, and that has helped the incumbent president to garner more strength. But what we know for sure is that the military is definitely in charge today, in charge of the country today. But it comes at a time where we've seen multiple coups in the region. It comes on the heels of an election process that civil society claimed wasn't free and fair. The main political party of the country, the PAIGC, wasn't able to have a candidate in this election. And so it was really Embalo Sissoco, the incumbent president, against the opposition contender, Fernando Dias, who was really trying to bring change to this process. So even though the polls were held under calm circumstances, as the election results were coming out today, we saw both contenders claim victory, and that's where the military stepped in.
Yeah,
Marlene?
did we hear from the head of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, just a few days ago, who were observing the election, praising the election, saying that the whole process had been incredibly peaceful. So the developments that we're seeing now, will they have come as a surprise to most people, to most observers?
Yeah, that seems to be a discrepancy with what civil society says, of course. And this is one of the accusations that many people in civil society say about the West African body of ECOWAS, that is accused of being a club for presidents trying to cling on to power. And so what we've seen is there was an election process that was calm, but that doesn't mean that it was free and fair. The fact that one of the main political parties, the PAIGC, that has been offering candidates that was the party from which the main prime minister was from in previous governments, wasn't able to run in the race, really is a blow to the electoral process. Not only that, the fact that the opposition was clamped down, the fact that there wasn't enough space for discontent to be expressed inside Guinea Bissau leads to an election that feels not free and fair, at least from the perspective of civil society. And in this instability, that's where the military steps in. And it happens not just in Guinea Bissau, but it happens in neighboring countries. We saw it in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, where the trust in the democratic process is not there among many people in the country. And what they want to see change, they want to see more democracy, but also a trickle-down effect of the wealth that's promised by these politicians to the people. Marlene?
OK, Nicolas, thank you for that. Nicolas Haque, our correspondent there in Dakar. And just to update you on this breaking news that is coming through to us, more details we hope to come in the coming hours. But a coup has now been officially confirmed in Guinea-Bissau. Earlier, we had heard heavy gunfire outside the presidential palace. This is just days after a general election had taken place where two candidates had claimed a victory. The results had been due to be released tomorrow. That obviously we'll have to see how that plays out. For now, Nicolas Haque there for us.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.